Dude, hitting infinite was supposed to be this celebratory, fun thing, and I can safely say with my hand on my heart that this was the worst gaming experience I've had in a very long time, and here's why. The first thing that it comes down to is that for me, hitting infinite was a really big grind. I literally had to grind from the first day of the season when I made the decision to try to hit infinite all the way to the last. Now, I was speaking to some people on Reddit about their experiences with hitting infinite, and some of the advice that I got is something that I just can't do. What some people do is that they play the game very intensely in the beginning of a season because the likelihood that you get bots at the reset rank that it puts you into, which is about 70, I think, in many cases, is much higher. So that's almost free wins for people that know how to play the bots. And at the same time, there's other factors around matchmaking that make it more likely that you're going to have slightly a better time in the beginning of a season. So they would just play that real hard, get real sweaty about it, and then hit infinite in a matter of sometimes a day or two or less than a week. Dude, if you can do that, more power to you. That's not me. I'm mid at best. I get bodied left and right in this game, even when I have a good deck in place. So that's just not me. What is me is that if I'm going to hit infinite, for me, it's going to be a massive grind because what's going to happen is I'm going to yo-yo like crazy, which is literally what happened. So I don't do too well with games that are too grindy. This is the reason I dropped MMOs years ago. Years ago, I used to be obsessed with MMOs, but that was when I was a teenager and I could spend my entire day being as sweaty as those guys about that MMO. My thing was Lineage. I used to love playing Lineage too. I can't do that anymore. I'm 34. I got 2 cats. I got children to take care of, so I can't do that. So it's going to be a grind for me. But grinds in games can sometimes be enjoyable. For instance, I play a lot of Tekken 8. It didn't just come out. It came out this year, I believe. But I love it. And even if I play against dudes that have been playing a certain character and also playing Tekken for 30 years since the 90s, and I get juggled left and right with combos for a 3 round straight and not even be able to put in an input of any kind, I still can admire that. I can just sit back, put my controller down and be like, dude, have your way with my Hwoarang. Have your fun. Let me try to study what you're doing. For whatever reason, that's not how it is with Marvel Snap. With Marvel Snap, it's, oh, great, I missed a lane for 2 seconds and you Galactus me to hell. Great job, buddy. Good one. So for whatever reason, the grind in Marvel Snap is not enjoyable. Now, the other thing that made me really hate it is the lack of creativity with the decks. I know, it's a game with about, 300 cards in total. The deck size is small. It's about 12 cards, much smaller than Hearthstone or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. So what it impacts is the variance of decks. However, I can definitely say that my cozy ranks of about 50 to 80 have a lot more people more creative, just trying new things and interesting decks or new decks or unproven decks. That happens a lot more. But once you get to the 80 to 85 and plus, dude, it gets horrible. It's the same 3 decks. So it's Hella Hell Cow because that was the theme of last season. And because of Hella Hell Cow, there was a lot of clog. And other than that, you had every 3rd deck be destroy. Dude, if I see another Deadpool card, I think I'm going to blow my brains out. And more importantly, if I see another Deadpool emoji, I think I will definitely blow a fuse for sure. Regardless, the lack of variance in the decks was really difficult for me. And if I have to expand on that a little bit more, it's not just about, I'm not talking about the archetypes. I'm talking about the cards. Archetypes, I could go on for days with. Even though people play a very linear version of Destroy, you can play a Destroy deck with a different flavor that can be so fun. Discard decks and Hella-based decks are also linear, but they can also be fun. So it's not about the archetype. It's about the same sequence of moves. It's the same sequence of cards. It's the same sequence of cards on specific turns. It's the same. It's boring. It's predictable, but in the least fun way possible. It's predictable in the way of, here we go, about to lose because this deck is just busted. Or at least that was my thought at the time. I don't think it's busted anymore. But it's just so repetitive, and that doesn't make it fun whatsoever. Really, really made it difficult. The last thing that made it really difficult, and this is probably individual to me, was I can't tell you how many times I got to rank 99 and 6 cubes or 5 and then get just lose to some bullshit and then drop back down. And then because it would create this negative feelings in me, I would be more desperate to win and get the cubes back, which is a bad mistake in Marvel Snap because that just means you're gonna lose. And I would drop further and further and further. And I've done this skydive or nosedive rather from at the edge of infinite 99 rank and a few cubes back down to like 89 or 86 in one case, just this massive winning streak. And that is such a blow to my balls and my ego and my confidence and my motivation to play the game. I nearly dropped it. And as a result, what ended up happening is, yeah, I hit infinite, whatever, but it burned me out on the game. This game that I enjoy, that I really love playing, that relaxes me, then became this source of anxiety and stress. The worst thing in the world. I didn't want to see the logo. I didn't want to see the music or hear it, rather. I was so pissed that I could see sounds at one point. I didn't just want to interact with the game in any way. I watch a lot of YouTube. I love watching Cozy and Alex Kosha and all these guys, and I just couldn't watch that either because it was Marvel Snap related. Couldn't go on Reddit. I had to disable my notifications because people would be like, hit infinite with this deck is so good. Couldn't do any of that. And it burned out on a game that I like, which is a shame. So then I dropped it for a week once I hit infinite. I played a little bit in the infinite ranks, and they're even more boring because there's no stakes. So what's the point? It was horrible. So yeah, I got the card back, and current me is happy that, you know, I can say that I hit infinite. To who? There's nobody here. But it wasn't worth it. So if you ask me, Tony, would you hit infinite again this season? The answer is no. No, never again. I'm not even going to try. I started doing some gameplay stuff, and I got back into the game. I detoxed from it a little bit, and I don't necessarily even care about snapping, and nor do I care about ranks. All I care about is having fun, putting in decent decks that I built myself, or net decks with a little bit of a twist on them if needed. I want to be in the ranks where people are trying stuff. I want to be in the ranks where people are not very sweaty about it. And I want to interact with the community. And I most enjoy interacting with people that are just relaxed about the game. And I didn't feel like the people in those high ranks were relaxed about the game. I think they were probably in the same place where they're just trying to climb that ladder. And it just changes the dynamics of the game, which is not fun. So now I'm free. Now I don't have to deal with this infinite stuff anymore. I scratched that itch. The only thing I'm wondering is whether I'm alone in this. So for you, whoever you are that's watching this, have you hit infinite, and what were your feelings when you did? If you hit infinite, are you doing it again? Are you trying to do it again? Or are you also like me, where you hit it once and you just kick your feet up and you don't care? Or are you also like me, where you're never hit it, you're trying, but it doesn't really work, and you're not really sure whether you should? Because if that's the case, I can tell you, I don't want to tell you how to feel. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's a whole lot of stress for a card back that is also kind of meh. So that's it. That's my rant. I just wanted to get my feelings out there about it and let people know that if you're ever feeling bad about not hitting infinite, or if you almost got to it and never hit it, dude, it's not that important. It doesn't matter. And trust me, it doesn't even feel that good to hit it. So mostly focus on enjoying the game and having a lot of fun and being a part of the community. That infinite stuff can infinitely go Deadpool itself.